form this alliance. Number one is the leadership issue. If all these political parties want to be together and give some kind of challenge to the BJP ahead of 2024, one of the biggest questions that has been asked is that do they really have a prime ministerial face that they can tout against Prime Minister Narendra Modi? Brand Modi, can that really be challenged in 2024 Lok Sabha election? And the second stinging criticism has been that it has been a notional unity of sorts. Even during the assembly elections in the Hindi heartland in the state of Telangana, all these opposition parties were unable to forge any kind of electoral alliances. In fact, the Congress and the Samajwadi Party were openly taking pot shots at each other. Have these questions really been answered? Has this alliance really sorted the question of leadership? The name of Mr Malikarjun Kharge was touted to be the prime ministerial face that the opposition can project, but it was taken objection to. There are various supporters of Mr Nitish Kumar who argue that he should be considered as the face for the prime ministerial position from the side of the opposition. Is this a problem of plenty, or is this really healthy competition within the opposition ranks? Can the opposition parties really afford to have this kind of ambiguity at this point in time?
बिल्कुल चर्चा हुई, एक प्रस्ताव पारित किया गया, वो हम ECI से उस सवाल को उठाएंगे।
खड़गे जी को नाम हमने किया है और हमारा कोई इतराज नहीं है और हमको सपोर्ट दिया है अरविंद केजरीवाल।
जीत के लिए क्या करना उसके बारे में हम सोचें। कौन प्राइम मिनिस्टर बनना ये बाद में की बात है।
Well, amid all of this drama, what exactly was the outcome of the second key meeting that really happened? Well, number one, there is no convener of the I.N.D.I.A bloc that has been selected/elected in the Delhi meet that really happened. A resolution, of course, was passed against the suspension of nearly, multiple member of parliament who have been suspended, and that number has only gone up in the last few days. A resolution was also adopted questioning design and operation of the EVMs. That is one issue that once again came up, and the opposition wants to keep this issue alive ahead of 2024. The I.N.D.I alliance parties will start a joint campaign from the 30th of January. Joint rallies, joint campaigning, all of that has been planned. Now, the decision on seat sharing to be taken in the next 3 weeks. There is a special committee that has been formed. But TMC has set December 31 deadline to finish the seat sharing formula. They argue if you're not able to reach any kind of conclusion, then the party will make calls for itself. But as I said, all these political parties are unnatural allies. They have had differing opinion on multiple points. The friction points, the 2024 prime ministerial phase, there is no consensus on the 2024 prime minister phase. Mamata, Banerjee, Arvind Kejriwal, they have backed Mr Kharge. However, there is no consensus on that name. The I.N.D.I.A partners, they are split in half. There are multiple positions and opinions on the issue of leadership. No coherent joint resolution has been adopted. There is also a rift over consensus that eludes on the common minimum program, something we have heard of during the UPA era. The seat sharing tension, it's open. Those differences are out in the open. As I said, we heard them during the elections that happened in Madhya Pradesh, in Chhattisgarh, in Rajasthan, and Telangana. Bengal, Punjab, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, these are sticking points. Political parties here have very different ambitions. A lot of it is also lost in translation. Nitish, quite literally, Mr. Nitish Kumar has bagged Hindi, and I'm quoting, as a national language. When he was speaking in Hindi, there was an objection that was taken by the DMK. They were uncomfortable. And Mr. Nitish Kumar said that, look, various parties from the south should also know Hindi. The primacy of the Congress party, as they would have liked it to be, is challenged. The Congress party and their position within the I.N.D.A alliance, that remains very, very jittery at this point in time, especially when they were decimated in the recently concluded assembly elections. Openly, the Congress party's bid for any kind of leadership and primacy has been questioned. Savarkar, Sanatan. All of these are multiple issues on which the parties are strongly divided. Look at a political party like Shiv Sena and DMK. Would they really see eye to eye on multiple issues that I've just pointed out, including Mr. Savarkar on Hindutva and various other issues? There is also a disquiet over DMK's insult of Sanatana. It's argued that this particular narrative played a very important part in the assembly election. Kharge as the prime ministerial face, that proposal is on the table, but Congress seems to be on the back foot. It is often argued, and today in the broadcast it was pointed out a few hours ago, certain Congress spokesperson also went on to say that, look, before 2024, we are unlikely to announce any kind of name for the prime minister's position. That's the key question that we ask, that ahead of 2024, is that a real challenge that the opposition can really present for the people of this country against brand Narendra Modi?
Hello, Moto.
Well, joining us on the broadcast is the panel of spokesperson. We have Sanju Verma, who's the BJP national spokesperson, joining us on the broadcast. Rohan Gupta, the Congress spokesperson, is also with us on the broadcast. Nitin Tyagi from the I.N.D.I.A party. And Mr. Abhijit Majumdar, who's an author and journalist, joining us on the show. Good evening to all of you. Thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. Rohan, why don't you open the debate for us? The Congress party and its primacy is challenged. I mean, you would have hoped that you did better in assembly elections and the Congress party would have been able to stake its claim for the leadership position. With that not being the factual scenario right now, is the opposition scrambling for a leadership face?
Absolutely not, Anusha. So basically, whether it is before elections or after elections, if you see these elections, Congress was the main opposition party who is going to fight BJP directly. So I don't think so. This is about the bargaining inside India. The basic objective is very clear. How to save our democracy. We are now seeing the trailer. After their win, how they can suspend more than 150 MPs without proper process or maybe without proper reason. So this shows that this country is leading towards autocracy, and the common agenda of all the parties in India Alliance, all 20 parties in India Alliance, is just to save our democracy. There can be differences within themselves in terms of any macro issue or micro issue. They don't matter, because the core issue is to protect our democracy. And as far as this issue is concerned, all these parties are together, and that is what we discussed in India meeting. Whether Prime Minister is X, Y, Z, it doesn't matter. You have to protect the democracy, and for that we are all united. And that's why we decided that after the India bloc wins, the PM candidate will be decided. See, there are many challenges, and the way we see last few days, the trailer of their autocracy, it is dangerous. Whatever it is, if the parliament has been attacked, and when all the parties, opposition parties, they are just asking reply from the Home Minister in the parliament, I don't think so. This kind of brutal action of all the MPs being out of parliament for the whole session.
No. Rohan, I believe there was also a clear resolution that was adopted, but that's not the point that we are discussing here. I believe as a citizen of this country, of this thriving democracy, as much as we deserve a stable government, we also deserve a very stable, good opposition in this country that can question an elected government in a constructive manner. If the opposition in this country, a coalition of opposition parties, is scrambling for a leadership, what kind of challenge will you really put forward before the BJP? That's the question right now. And it's not a debate club where you gather together, you come together and you criticize the government. You have to form real electoral alliances that can win you elections.
How can you say that these are not a proper electoral alliance? When India Alliance today says that we will put our united candidate against BJP, how can you say that this is not the face? At the end of the day, the MP elections are fought by the candidates. And we see that if all the parties together, they fight elections, it will be formidable challenge to BJP. And let the time come. We will see how the things progress. We are going to fight this election unitedly. We are going to fight state by state. We will ensure that the people's concern. Today, the democracy has been crushed. The people are saying
this entire narrative that democracy is in danger. Sanjuji, the Congress party and the opposition believes it's going to find resonance with the people.
Thank you, Anusha. I have a couple of points here that I would like to elaborate upon. I think one definition of democracy that all of us unequivocally grew up with is the one made famous by Abraham Lincoln. Democracy is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So when somebody from the opposition sits here and takes a jibe at the ruling dispensation, by saying that democracy khatre mein hai, constitution khatre mein hai, संविधान खतरे में है, I would just like to tell them that false narrative has run its course. And I'll tell you why. Just 10 seconds on the phenomenal and thumping victories posted by the BJP in the Hindi heartland. But more importantly, I think the fact that really stood out for somebody like me, who's an astute observer of Indian polity, is the fact that in Madhya Pradesh, despite 18-year-old long so-called perceived anti-incumbency, do you know, Anusha, our strike rate, our success rate was 71% vis-a-vis 28% of the Congress. In Rajasthan, our success rate or strike rate was 57% versus 36% of the Congress. And in Chhattisgarh, where every pop political pundit wrote us off, saying Bhupesh Baghel to dobara aa hi rahe hain, BJP ka to aane 61% vis-a-vis the Congress at 38%. Now going beyond numbers, because I always say that politics is not just about arithmetic, politics is also about a certain charisma, the X factor and chemistry. Okay. And I can say this with a lot of confidence that the opposition obviously does not have its house together. It reminds me of that kahawat, jo class mein topper bachcha hai, वो एग्जाम के 2-3 महीने पहले he or she has revised his syllabus 3-4 times, और जो दूसरा बच्चा है जो कंसोलेशन प्राइज भी जिसको नहीं मिलता है, वो कह रहा है भाई साहब सिलेबस क्या है, मुझे तो सिलेबस तक का पता नहीं. And I'll tell you what, I'll just take 20 seconds. On the 23rd of June 2023, we had the first dot alliance meeting at Patna, where Arvind Kejriwal threw a tantrum. On the 17th and 18th of July 2023, we had the second dot alliance meeting at Bengaluru, where you had Nitish Kumar who threw a tantrum. On the 31st of August and 1st of September 2023, we had the third dot alliance meeting at the Hyatt in Mumbai, where Mamata Banerjee threw a tantrum. And yesterday, on the 19th of December 2023, at Delhi, we had the fourth meeting of the dot alliance, where leaders from the south, particularly the likes of Balu, they voiced their displeasure, saying that, why is Nitish Kumar speaking in Hindi? We can't understand a word. And in 10 seconds, today the big news, Anusha, is Akhilesh Yadav has said that I will not be a part of the dot alliance if Behenji Mayawati becomes a part of it.
No, I'm going to distill all of those arguments into a singular question for you, Nitinji. Nitinji, the question I believe is of leadership, and that's the same point I want you to elaborate upon. There was a name of Mr. Malikarjun Kharge that was proposed, that was put on the table, but you had opposition coming from within the opposition alliance that no, there are more deliberations that we need to do, and Mr. Kharge is one of the senior most leader in the alliance, one of the most acceptable faces, a formidable politician, and yet there is no consensus even on his name. Nitinji.
See, it is very initial stage that we are talking about, and it is a suggestion that has been made. It is not a declaration that has been made. It is a suggestion made by Mamata ji, and it is a suggestion made by Arvind ji that yes, this name, we can think about this name, and we would prefer this kind of line. This is the beauty of the alliance, that everybody see what I'll tell you what has happened. And Sanju right now, she was like giving false statements left, right and center just now about the alliance, but this is not how the alliance is actually.
No, but counter her on facts. This is your chance, sir. Counter
alliance,
her on
the
facts.
essence of alliance is for the Lok Sabha election, just a moment. It is for the Lok Sabha elections. Everybody deliberates what they actually want from the alliance, what they will discuss. You call it displeasure, you call it throwing tantrums, you make some brownie points with a few people, but this is not going to happen. When India Alliance is going to streamline all these things and put one person against your one person, Sanjuji, I'm telling you, you would be sitting in the opposition, and we will have a strong opposition then.
Sanjuji, a quick response from you, then I want to bring in Mr. Abhijit Majumdar into this discussion.
Okay. Anusha, the best point about your debates are the fact that they are so sane. You bring out the saner arguments from each of us. I will just tell Mr. Nitin one simple thing. Arvind Kejriwal's party was routed in Lok Sabha 2014, was routed in Lok Sabha 2019, failed to win a single vote. It is only last year that from Jalandhar, they won one seat in the Lok Sabha thanks to Sushil Kumar Rinku. They've lost deposits in Karnataka. In Uttarakhand, their entire party was disbanded and entire party en masse joined the BJP. And Kejriwal had come on the premise, हम तो राजनीति बदलने आए हैं. A party which was supposed to generate and abet and encourage aspirational politics in India for professionals for the
This
government.
is what you are talking about. You were talking about that you
one
are...
at a time.
No, you should not. Stick to the point. Stick to the point.
Nitinji, I'll come back to you. I've given her.
I am trying to lie.
One at a time. One at a time.
What you did with the
one at a time. One at a time. 1 at a time. 1 minute 30 seconds to Sanju Verma, and then similar time to you, and then Mr. Abhijit Majumdar. Sanjuji, 30 seconds.
Thank you. You know, Anusha, did you see I did not heckle the AAP panelists. The moment I started talking about uncomfortable truths, the panelist was outraged. And then this is the same behavior that is repeated on the floor of the house, despite the chair repeatedly with folded hands saying, बैठ जाइए, हम आपकी बात सुनने के लिए तैयार हैं. They jump into the well, they behave like hooligans and kindergartners, and then they have the audacity to lecture the BJP on democracy khatre mein hai.
All right.
I will talk about Aam Aadmi Party since the panelist said Sanju ji is lying, blah, blah, blah. Is it not a fact that Manish Sisodia has appealed to not only the High Court but the Supreme Court on at least 6 occasions?
And even that review petition has been rejected. I have to bring in Mr. Abhijit Majumdar into the discussion. Mr. Majumdar, the question of leadership in the I.N.D.I.A alliance, can that really be skirted? Is this really a question that the opposition parties can keep for the last? We'll decide it when the time comes. Perhaps an issue they don't want to face head on.
You see, Anusha, this coalition politics in India is pretty old now, almost 4-5 decades old. And there has been over 60 coalition governments in India since 1967. Coalition government politics rears its head when one particular political force becomes very strong and big. Earlier, coalitions used to happen against the Congress, and now we see the rise of a coalition, semblance of a coalition, I would say, till now, against the BJP, because BJP has risen phenomenally in the last 10, 12 years. Now, the thing is, there are 4 challenges in front of the ruling coalition. One is that the Congress, Rohan may disagree with me, that the Congress is the elephant in the room when the leaders meet for decisions and how to take things forward. Okay. And because it's still in its own mind, it is still bigger than others. It's a national party. It's others are small players. Second is that the Congress's success in the states like Kerala, like Telangana, like Karnataka, would automatically make the smaller parties nervous, because there is always the anxiety that their space, political space, may shrink. Okay. And of course, there is it's vice versa. Congress also has would have some sort of anxiety, but it's more on the part of regional parties. Yeah. Third challenge is that ideological hodgepodge. You remember in the 90s, BJP and the left have come together to form a coalition. Yes. It is not possible now. It doesn't work as seamlessly now because Congress ideologically it has always been a bit of this, bit of that. Yeah. BJP has a very clear ideology. Yes. So ideological hodgepodge doesn't work against the BJP. There has to be some kind of a united ideological approach against the BJP. And the fourth, which is in, I'll just take 10 more seconds. Please go ahead. Yeah. That there is no deft backroom player like Harkishan Singh Surjit. Mr. Sharad Pawar is, has taken a backseat. So we see a whole, this whole question of a prime minister should ideally come after the elections, not before it. because it is absolutely normal in a coalition for many people to have prime ministerial ambitions, but all that needs very deft organization, networking between the party, very mature ones.
I believe these are some, you've hit the nail on its head. You're right that one of the key argument to make here is, as you said, that Congress is the elephant in the room. I'll take Rohan Gupta on that point first. Rohan, is the Congress party the elephant in the room, as Mr. Majumdar argued?
See, absolutely not. Mr. Majumdar might have his own views, and Congress party, whenever this idea of India alliance was there, Congress party always understood their responsibility, and we are very clear that this alliance is for Lok Sabha. It is very clear, Anusha, that the parties who are part of India alliance, obviously there are many issues where we don't agree with each other. That's fine, because we have to see what is the macro objective. And again, I am telling you, if we all these parties, they unite together and they fight as a united option, people will see us as option. And once people see us as option, people see that there is a way we can come out of this autocracy. Definitely people are going to move towards us. So we understand our responsibility as a part of this alliance, as a major portion of the alliance, as a national party. We understand what are the aspirations of local party, and we have to come out with win-win situation. There will be seats where we might not agree on certain things, but somebody will have to compromise. Somebody will have to show the maturity, because it is all about the democracy. Today, issue is, it's not that people are happy. There are a lot of people who are not happy, but they are afraid because the way democracy has been butchered.
But sir, I am open to having a debate about the state of Indian democracy. But if that was really the case, why didn't that reflect in the numbers that we saw coming in from Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan? Why is it that this narrative fails to find any kind of resonance when it comes to electoral results, when it comes to victories that you can engineer? It seems like that this entire narrative that democracy is in danger has been happening in some kind of a gas bubble. It has no resonance on the ground, I argue. Rohan Gupta, a quick response from you, and then I will take in Nitin also on that point.
Anusha, I absolutely don't agree with that.
I'll come to you, Sanjuji.
BJP spokesperson was giving example of 3 states. Why she has forgotten Telangana? Majority of the candidates in Telangana, BJP, they have lost their deposits. So Telangana is also in India. We should not forget that. Karnataka is also in India. We should not forget that.
A quick point from Nitin Tyagi as well. Then I'll give the closing arguments as well. Nitin, a quick point from you, please.
See, it's very easy to keep on pointing fingers when you are in the seat of power. But is it not true that ED has withdrawn its cases against Chhagan Bhujbal after he joined BJP? Or is it not true that our Honorable Prime Minister has eaten his own words on Ajit Pawar when he joined hands with BJP? So Sanju should not talk about Manish Sisodia and throw names here and there just to prove her point. Let me tell you one thing. You might go gaga about the numbers that BJP has got in Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh or Madhya Pradesh, but that is not how it happens, because Congress won it the last time and BJP won the Lok Sabha elections. So this has got nothing to do with the Lok Sabha elections. And yes, India Alliance is going to partner together, fight the elections together and ensure that India gets a better government than what is happening today.
All right, Sanju Vermaji, a quick point from you, please.
Anusha, I have not heckled anyone, and I expect that courtesy, and I expect you to moderate the debate. First and foremost, the Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson saying Sanju Verma is throwing names here and there. Excuse me, Manish Sisodia is in the jail. His bail has been denied by the Supreme Court. Satinder Jain has still not been given any relief by the highest court of the land. Sanjay Singh has been denied bail by the Supreme Court, clearly saying that there was a quid pro quo between him and the liquor mafia. Today all the top brass of the Aam Aadmi Party is in lockup, not due to Sanju Verma or due to Narendra Modi or Amit Shah. They are in the lockup because the apex court, the law of the land, the judicial process has found them culpable. Point number 1. And don't show your arrogance here, because you're a party which is actually just ruling in 1.5 states. Thank you. And the third point is this. Malikarjun Kharge, supposedly assume that he's the prime ministerial face. I am actually finding this absolutely hilarious, with no personal offense to Mr. Kharge, who's an octogenarian. Don't forget, this is the same Malikarjun Kharge who in Lok Sabha 2019 lost his seat from Gulbarga to BJP's Umesh Jadhav. And he lost, Mr. Kharge lost by a massive 95,000 452 votes. Is that all that the Congress or this ... alliance could come up with? But last but not the least, people who say, oh, north-south divide, BJP to north mein satta mein hai, but in the south it is the Congress which rules the roost. Let me tell you, this north-south divide is a figment of people's imagination, because even in southern India, BJP has the highest tally at 29 Lok Sabha seats, and the Congress close second is only at 27. So stop crowing about this north-south divide, which is imaginary. And my final point is this: एक तरफ नरेंद्र मोदी है, दूसरी तरफ सोनिया प्लस राहुल प्लस ममता प्लस अरविंद केजरीवाल प्लस TR बालू प्लस
लिस्ट बहुत लंबी है संजू जी, लिस्ट बहुत लंबी है। आखिरी 1 मिनट है मेरे पास। नितिन त्यागी, last 1 minute that I have on the show. Closing comments from you, because you have a lot of points to respond on. Please keep it brief.
Yeah, absolutely. Out of those 29 seats, 26 are from Karnataka, and I'm sure you're not going to win more than 5 out of them this time around in Karnataka. Let me be very sure.
You have been wiped out in every single election.
One person. Nitin Tyagi right now. Nitin
Be happy about it. Be happy about it. Yeah, we have been. See. We are a growing party. We are growing. We are putting in our best of efforts, and we will face these things. Even BJP has faced these things. Even Jan Sangh faced their thing, and it has a long history. So don't compare yourselves and ourselves. We are just 10-year-old party. You are a 100-year-old party. You should actually give us some leverage. Cut us some slack.
Well, sir,
we are trying our
when
best.
when you're in the harsh reality of Indian politics,
we have MPs. We have governments in 2 states. We have MLAs in two more states. In fact. So, and we are now a national party. We are now a national party. We are now a national party, madam. We are now a national party.
That's all the time that I have. But it seems like that one of the fundamental questions that I had put forward at the beginning of the debate about the leadership and to be able to form real electoral alliances, they have not been answered. We await the time when this particular alliance of about 28 political parties in the opposition will be able to answer these questions constructively to give us a formidable opposition in the world's largest democracy. With that, we are slipping into a very short break. On the other side, the Sansad showdown continues. 143 MPs have been suspended so far, and the controversy continues to revolve around the mockery of the Vice President. That debate on the other side.
Hello, Moto.
Presented by
Despite the power of Iceland's Reykjanes eruption decreasing on Tuesday, nature was still putting on a show. The 2.5 mile long fissure continuing to spew lava up to 330 feet into the air. The evacuated town of Grindavik lies under 2 miles away, but volcanologist Dave McGarvey told Reuters the lava flow should avoid the area.
At the moment, it's not, one can't be certain where the lava is going to flow, but it looks like it will go more towards the north and west and perhaps the south and east. And those are good directions for the town of Grindavik.
Recent inactivity had raised hopes the 4,000 residents might return home. Hans Vera, a Belgian who has lived in Iceland since 1999, isn't so sure now.
Although it's just erupting in the north part of it, they probably think there's a chance that it opens up somewhere else and then it's going to be closer to Grindavik. So I don't see that in the near future they will let people get close to Grindavik. So we are back in the waiting game.
This Icelandic Coast Guard flight over the ripped landscape just hours after it burst the Earth's surface shows lava fountains sending magma and smoke hundreds of feet into the air. Officials worry gas pollution could spread to the capital Reykjavik late on Tuesday evening or Wednesday morning.
So it's very early days yet, but I think over the next 2 or 3 days, things will become much clearer.
In 2010, ash clouds from eruptions at the Eyjafjallajökull volcano in the south of Iceland spread over large parts of Europe, grounding tens of thousands of flights in Europe and beyond. But experts say this time limited ash is being released, quelling fears of a repeat, with no disruption so far. These tourists already making the most of the new natural wonder.
It's a once in a lifetime for us, so we don't want to miss that.
Scientists say seismic activity could continue for several months.
Good evening, hello and welcome. You're watching Brass Tacks. I'm Anusha Soni. In an unprecedented move, a total of 143 Lok Sabha MPs from opposition are suspended for creating ruckus and disruption on the floor of the House. 95 MPs from Lok Sabha and 46 from Rajya Sabha face suspension right now. While the opposition has all the right to protest against the suspension, a video mocking Vice President Jagdeep Dhankhar has gone viral. TMC leader Kalyan Banerjee is seen mimicking Mr Dhankhar here. The Prime Minister, the Office of the President of India, has condemned the incident, calling it shameful and unacceptable. Ahead of the 2024 Lok Sabha election, it was anticipated that the politics between the opposition and the government shall escalate. That's a given. But this politics is devoid of any constructive one. Issues of people seem to have taken a backseat, and they seem to be lost in the politics of disruption. The precious time of Indian Parliament is lost in the political blame game. Is this the kind of politics that we really deserve ahead of 2024? And who exactly is responsible for the kind of ruckus, for the kind of mayhem and disruptions that we have seen in the winter session of the Parliament? Our focus on Brass Tacks tonight.
The House will meet at 2 p.m. today.
thinks that there is similarity, then my question is, does he behave in this way in the Rajya Sabha?
MPs बैठे हुए थे, मैंने उनका वीडियो लिया, मेरा वीडियो मेरे फोन पे है, मीडिया दिखा रहा है, मीडिया कह रहा है, मोदी जी कह रहे हैं, किसी ने कुछ कहा ही नहीं।
पहली बार इस लेवल तक जा रहा है कि इसका हद ही नहीं है सर।
Let me take you through some numbers first. How exactly it transpired? The suspension spree, it continued in Parliament today as well. So far, as I said earlier, 143 MPs have been suspended so far from Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha combined. Let's take a look at the timeline of the events and how they actually unfolded. First up, in Lok Sabha, since the security breach, that incident happened on the 13th of December, the number of suspensions have just increased. They've only gone up. And today, 2 more MPs were suspended, adding on to that tally. They were suspended from Lok Sabha. That's the action that the chair took. So far, about 97 members have been suspended as far as Lok Sabha is concerned. Next is Rajya Sabha, the upper house of the parliament. The similar story unfolded in the upper house of the parliament as well. On December 18, about 45 MPs were suspended. Hence, now the total number of suspended MPs has jumped to 143. This number is something which we have never seen in the history of independent India, that so many opposition MPs, for their conduct, have been suspended for one particular session of the parliament. As I said, never ever in the history of independent India, since the parliament began to convene, such huge number of parliamentarians were suspended. Now, this only tells us the kind of standoff that exists between the government and the opposition right now. Meanwhile, the row continued to explore over Kalyan Banerjee mimicking Vice President Jagdeep Dhankhar. That was the goalpost that changed today. Today, Prime Minister Narendra Modi called the Vice President of India and informed him, and I'm quoting right now, that he's pained over the abject theatrics of MPs in Parliament. The Prime Minister went on to say that he's also been at the receiving end of these insults for about 20 years. He went on to say that it's unfortunate that the Vice President's office and post has also been insulted by the present act. Now, even the President of India tweeted and condemned the opposition MPs for mocking the Vice President's office.
Hello, Moto.
Let's have a look at this tweet of the day, which is a Motorola tweet of the day. And as we show you this tweet, I'm just going to quote what was said by the President of India. I was dismayed to see the manner in which our respected Vice President was humiliated in the Parliament complex. Elected representatives must be free to express themselves, but their expression should be within the norms of dignity and courtesy. That has been the parliamentary tradition we are proud of, and the people of India expect them to uphold it. Unquote. Well, let's also introduce our panel of esteemed guests who are joining us on Brass Tacks tonight. We have Mr. Leher Singh Siroya. He is a Rajya Sabha MP from the BJP. We also have Mr. S.T. Hassan, who is a Lok Sabha MP from the Samajwadi Party, presently facing suspension. Mr. Shogato Roy, an MP from the All India Trinamool Congress, currently facing suspension right now, is also joining us on the broadcast. We'll also have other esteemed Member of Parliament join us in just a bit. Mr. Maluk Nagar, the Lok Sabha MP of the BSP, and Kanimodu Somu, the Rajya Sabha MP from the DMK. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Siroya, first to you. The key allegation which has been made against the BJP is that the office of the chair of the speaker, or the manner in which the chair has exercised its powers, is disproportionate.
देखिए, ये बहुत ही शर्मनाक घटना है
जी,
और कोई भी कॉमेडियन ने आज तक किसी भी मंच पर राष्ट्रपति या उपराष्ट्रपति की मिमिक्री कभी नहीं की है, चाहे कितना ही बढ़िया कॉमेडियन हो। राजनेताओं की कॉमेडी होती आई करते आए हैं और राजनेता उसको टॉलरेट करते आए हैं, लेकिन राष्ट्रपति और उपराष्ट्रपति जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन पद पर बैठे हैं
जी, उनकी
मिमिक्री कभी हमने नहीं सुनी। और दूसरा, जो बिहेवियर मुझे कल्याण बनर्जी पर इतना नहीं है जितना जो बड़े बड़े लोग वहां बैठे थे और जो उनका तालियां बजा बजा करके जो आनंद ले रहे थे, और राहुल गांधी जी जो कांग्रेस पार्टी जो ग्रांड ओल्ड पार्टी कही जाती है उसके सर्वोच्च नेता हैं और उस पद पर बैठे थे वो जब जिस पर बाल गंगाधर तिलक, लोकमान्य तिलक और गोपाल कृष्ण गोखले, महात्मा गांधी जी, सुभाष चंद्र बोस जैसे उन पदों पर जो बैठे थे उस पदों पर आज राहुल गांधी थे और अभी भी उस पार्टी के सर्वोच्च नेता हैं। उनका ये आचरण बच्चों की तरह वीडियो लेना पार्लियामेंट की प्रेमिसेस में, और मैं एक और बात बताना चाहूंगा कि ये जो जिस तरह से हाउस के अंदर जो ये नारेबाजी करते हैं ये लोग, पिछले मैं 1.5 साल से देख रहा हूं, एक बार भी संसद नहीं चलने दी उन्होंने। कभी ईडी का मुद्दा, कभी अडानी का मुद्दा, कभी मणिपुर का मुद्दा, उनको ये संसद चलने ही देना नहीं चाहते। और जिस तरह से झूम झूम के नारे लगाते हैं ये लोग और जिस तरह की हरकतें करते हैं, और परसों तो हद ही हो गई थी जब कुछ सदस्य गेस्टिकुलेटिंग कर रहे थे, स्टेज पर चढ़ने की कोशिश कर रहे थे और माननीय उपराष्ट्रपति तक पहुंचने की कोशिश कर रहे थे जी। और एक और बात बताना चाहूंगा कि जिस समाज से हमारे उपराष्ट्रपति जी हैं, जाट समाज से, तो जाट समाज का बहुत बड़ा इतिहास रहा है। महाराजा सूरजमल जो भरतपुर के महाराजा थे, उनको न तो अंग्रेज हरा सके और न मुगल हरा सके, और उनका राज्य दूर दूर तक फैला और हमेशा वो अपने मृत्यु तक वो कभी पराजित नहीं हुए।
सुरेश साहब, मैं आपकी बात समझती हूँ। मैं आपके सारे तर्क जो हैं, हमारे पास ऑपोजिशन के एमपीज हैं, उनके पास भी ले जाऊंगी। मेरा सीधा प्रश्न आपसे सिर्फ इतना है, मैं इसके पहले कि दूसरे लोगों से उनकी राय लूं, कि हमने हिंदुस्तान के इतिहास में ऐसा कभी नहीं देखा कि 143 MPs फ्रॉम द ऑपोजिशन आर सस्पेंडेड इन अ सिंगल सेशन। ऑपोजिशन का कहना है कि ये हाई हैंडेडनेस है।
आपने इतिहास में कभी देखा क्या कि राष्ट्रपति और उपराष्ट्रपति के कभी मखौल उड़ाया गया हो? और ये पार्टी, कांग्रेस पार्टी के लोग, उन्होंने आदरणीय महामहिम मुर्मू जी का भी मजाक उड़ाया था, अगर आपको याद हो तो। और किस तरह की हरकतें इन्होंने की, हम ऐसे हरकतें देखिए, हम भी विपक्ष में रहे हैं। सम्मान्य अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी कई वर्षों तक विपक्ष में रहे हैं, हम 2 सदस्य थे, 88, 89 थे, फिर 114 हुए, 161 हुए, लेकिन कभी हमने ऐसी हरकतें नहीं की और संसद को कभी इस तरह से हमने नहीं रोका। और इस तरह की नारेबाजी, इस तरह का व्यवहार
मैं ये सारे बिंदु दूसरे गेस्ट के पास भी ले जाना चाहूंगी। आई एम बीइंग टोल्ड दैट कनिमोडू सोमू, द राज्यसभा एमपी फ्रॉम द डीएमके, इज आल्सो जॉइनिंग अस इन जस्ट अ बिट। बट हसन साहब, आपके पास आऊंगी, आपकी राय लेना चाहूंगी। अगर हिंदुस्तान के इतिहास में कभी 143 एमपी एक बार में सस्पेंड नहीं हुए, तो बीजेपी का कहना है कि इस तरह का कंडक्ट हमने पहले कभी देखा भी नहीं है कि आप प्राइम मिनिस्टर की मॉफ्ड पिक्चर लेके पार्लियामेंट में आ जाएं, फ्लोर पर आ जाएं, आप चेयर के पास जाने की कोशिश करें, आप पार्लियामेंट को चलने ही ना दें। विपक्ष की पूरी मंशा पर सवाल उठाया जा रहा है कि कहीं ना कहीं ये पहले ही तय कर लिया गया था कि हम सदन को नहीं चलने देंगे।
ये किसने आपसे कहा कि पहले से तय कर लिया गया था?
जी,
हमारी तो एक डिमांड थी कि गृह मंत्री जी आए, अपना वक्तव्य दें और चले जाएं। क्या हर्ज था अगर 10 मिनट के लिए आते, बोल के चले जाते? इतनी बड़ी घटना हो गई। देश के अंदर सबसे सर्वोच्च पंचायत के अंदर 2 टेररिस्ट घुस गए। ये तो खुदा का शुक्र था कि उनके पास स्मोक था, बारूद था। अगर इतनी इस साइज का उनके पास RDX होता तो आज आपके चैनलों पर श्रद्धांजलियां चल रही होती। जान का खतरा सब सांसदों को तो हो गया था। हम भी एक दफा को ये समझे शायद टेररिस्ट घुस आए अंदर। अगर इस पे हम वक्तव्य चाहते थे तो ये बात कह दी गई कि साहब ये ओम बिरला जी का अधिकार है। अरे दिल्ली पुलिस किसके अंडर में आती है? IB किसके अंडर में आती है? तो यहाँ पे ये वाकया हो गया। हम 10 मिनट के लिए चाहते थे कि उन्होंने बाहर भी तो स्टेटमेंट दिया। ऐसी ईगो क्यों मना लेते हैं ये लोग कि 10 मिनट को आते, वक्तव्य दे के चले जाते? देखिए, सदन चलाना न चलाना ये जिम्मेदारी होती है रूलिंग पार्टी की। हमने जो इतिहास में आपने देखा, हमने जब भी प्रोटेस्ट करा है देश के लिए करा है
जी।
हमने अपने पर्सनल फायदों के लिए नहीं करा। मणिपुर के ऊपर भी हमने अगर प्रोटेस्ट करा है बहन बेटियों के लिए करा था। जब भी नहीं आए तो आखिर चाहते क्या है? और आपने 143 सांसदों को निलंबित कर दिया। आपने लगभग ये सांसद जो आते हैं 20 से 25 लाख वोटों के बीच में से निकल के आते हैं। आपने लगभग 30 करोड़ लोगों का अपमान कर दिया। आपने निलंबित कर दिया। ये कौन सा तरीका था? हम तो ये समझते थे कि हमारे संरक्षक हैं चेयर, हमारी
जी
अध्यक्ष जी हमारे संरक्षक हैं
जी,
लेकिन हमें अफसोस हुआ इस बात का कि अध्यक्ष जी एक हेडमास्टर की तरह से उन्होंने बिहेव करा और कहीं से भी डायरेक्शन उनको मिली भी है और उन्होंने ये सब काम कर दिया।
Mr. Maluk Nagar, do you agree with what ST Hassan is arguing, that why is it that the Home Minister did not make the statement? The argument of the government has been that it is the office of the Speaker that takes care of what happens inside the Parliament. The Parliamentary Affairs Minister has already made a statement, and it is not necessary for the Home Minister or the Prime Minister to make a statement on the floor of the House. Do you find that an acceptable argument? मालूक साहब।
देखिए एंकर साहब, इसको ना पार्लियामेंट्री प्रोसीजर को और जो हम लॉ मेकर हैं, जो पार्लियामेंट की जो गाइडलाइंस हैं उसको समझने के लिए
जी
मुझे तो लगता नहीं है बहुत सारे एमपीओ में से कुछ ही समझ में आता होगा और एंकर्स को भी बहुत कम समझ में आता होगा।
आज हम आपसे समझ लेते हैं
जो घटना घटी। हाँ, एक तो ये कि जो 143 आप एमपी कह रहे हैं सस्पेंड हुए हैं, वो 143 कह रहे हैं, वो 147 हैं। अच्छा? 147 इंस्टीड ऑफ 143, 4 आज भी हो गए हैं। एक तो ये। दूसरा, अभी हसन साहब कह रहे हैं 130 करोड़, वो 130 करोड़ लोग नहीं है, 142 करोड़ लोग हैं। देखिए, अभी इसको समझने के लिए उनमें 2 आदमी सबसे आगे सामने थे, हनुमान बेनीवाल और मैं खुद, जब बिल्कुल हमारे सामने हुआ, जिसको पकड़ा, मौत हमारे नजदीक से गई है। इससे बड़ी घटना कोई हो नहीं सकती थी। कल्पना करो अगर वो असली होते तो आज हम आपके टेलीविजन पे बैठने के लिए जिंदा ना होते। इतने डर गए थे कि उनको किसी तरह, अगर बाहर को एमपी भाग रहे थे, हम भी भागे तो पीछे ठोक देंगे। जब नजदीक गए,
आपने जब अपना ओपनिंग आर्गुमेंट दिया,
गैस बम या कलर बम छोड़ा तो लगा कि आज आंखें भी चली जाएंगी और फेफड़े भी यहीं मर के खत्म हो जाएंगे। मरने से पहले इन्हें मार लें। खूब डट करके हमने उनकी पिटाई भी करी अपने सेफ्टी के लिए, या मरने से पहले मार लें, इस संबंध को ध्यान में। तो एक्चुअल में क्या है, सिक्योरिटी किसके अंदर आती है? पार्लियामेंट की, लोकसभा सेक्रेटरीट के जी। तो जिम्मेदारी किसकी बैठती है? स्टेटमेंट देने की, पार्लियामेंट्री मिनिस्टर की। जो बाहर हम मान भी लें कि दिल्ली पुलिस है, वो किसके अंडर आती है? होम मिनिस्टर की। तो किसको स्टेटमेंट देनी चाहिए? होम मिनिस्टर को। तो होम मिनिस्टर बगैर इंक्वायरी से पहले कैसे दे दे, ये सोचना पड़ेगा। दूसरा, एक वो और भी सोचनी पड़ेगी जो गंभीर बात है कि सस्पेंड हुए क्यों? 2-2.5 साल तो हम लोगों के 17वीं लोकसभा के 2019 से 2024 तक के लिए कोरोना कार्यकाल में निकल गए। पिछले 4 सेशन हमारे बंद में निकल गए। केवल जो स्पेशल सेशन था वो चला है।
मालूक साहब, माफ करिए, मैं आपको बीच में रोक रही हूं, माफ करिए, मैं आपको बीच में रोक रही हूं। लेकिन आपने अपने आर्गुमेंट के ओपनिंग में कहा कि बहुत सारा पार्लियामेंट प्रोसीजर जो है, बहुत सारा पार्लियामेंट्री प्रोसीजर जो है, जिसको समझ में नहीं जाया जाता है।
बाहर आकर के तुम्हें सस्पेंड,
अरे मालूक साहब, मेरा सवाल तो सुन लीजिए।
बाहर आकर के जो बाबा अंबेडकर साहब ने जो संविधान लिखा, उस संविधान ढांचे में भारतीय संसद की जो परंपराएं हैं, उनमें तुम बाहर आए हो और तुम संवैधानिक पद पे बैठे हुए महामहिम देश के उपराष्ट्रपति या सो कॉल्ड चेयरमैन राज्यसभा, उसकी मिमिक्री कर रहे हो। मेरे हिसाब से ये देश के लिए या विदेशों में देख रहे हैं, ये ठीक नहीं है। और वो जाट समाज पिछड़े समाज से आते हैं, जिसमें जाट, गुजर, यादव, पाल, सैनी, कश्यप, सुनाल, लोहार, कुमार, उन तमाम की भी कहीं ना कहीं थोड़ा चोट पहुंचती है।
नहीं,
लेकिन इससे अलग हटके हम सोचें।
सर, मुझे अनुमति दीजिए, हमारे साथ कनिमोड़ी सोमू जी भी है, मैं उनको भी डिबेट में लाना चाहूंगी। कनिमोड़ी जी, आपको लगता है कि कहीं ना कहीं, डू यू अग्री विद दिस आर्गुमेंट दैट समवेयर द ऑफिस ऑफ Vice President has been disrespected? I mean, it's one thing for the opposition MPs to go ahead and protest near the Gandhi statue in Parliament, but it's another to cross that line and really make a mimicry of the House of the Vice President. Do you, as a respectable member of the Parliament, agree with that conduct, ma'am?
Good evening, ma'am. That has not been, what could you say? That could have been avoided, but in previous acts of the Prime Minister, who has done that inside the parliamentary building in 2018 when he was talking on the no confidence motion, he has mimicred Mr. Rahul Gandhi, which is not acceptable either. The highest power of the India, who's the Prime Minister and who's the supreme power in the parliament, cannot do that inside the house. Number 2, he also mimicred Mrs. Mamata Banerjee on a stage when he was campaigning. These two, how it is not allowable the same way? Because the Prime Minister of India has set a precedent's example for it. And today he claims what we did to the chairman, sir, is wrong. Of course, I don't support that at all. But there is an example set by the highest power of the house, that is the Prime Minister of India, has set an example of doing it so in a public stage and inside the parliament. Okay? And whatever has to be done, it has to be taken up for discussion. Now, why all this has come is the basic question. First, when the security breach which has happened in the Lok Sabha last week, if Prime Minister of India and Amit Shah ji had come to the proceedings of the House and given an explanation, I think everything would have all be set right and we would have gone ahead with the government business. Because the first week of the starting, we all had a smooth operations. We have been passing bills. We have been participating in a healthy discussion. Once there is security breach, we just asked for an explanation. In 2001 also, the same thing happened. At that time, the same BJP government was there. Vajpayee Singh and Adani ji had given the explanation. The next day, the whole day, there was a debate. An explanation was given. And the smooth operations of the House had taken place. Why they don't want to answer these two questions? Why they don't want to come inside and talk?
All right, ma'am. So, I believe the argument runs both ways, and I'm going to present this argument to you so that I can also hear your side of the argument in the spirit of the debate. The government argues that somewhere the opposition has made this about an ego tussle, because the explanation has already been given by the Speaker's office. A high level,
ma'am,
just listen to my question, and I'll give you the chance to respond. The Speaker on the floor of the House said, and as I was watching the proceedings, that there is a high-level committee which has already been set, and this entire matter of the security breach should not be seen from a party political point of view, and all of us were equally affected by it. Somewhere that message seems to have been lost in the bipartisan politics or the government versus opposition politics. Please go ahead, ma'am.
No, I don't look at it that way, madam. The chair holds the responsibility. Mr. Homrullah ji holds responsible for the whole security of the parliament. I do accept on that. And he has given a statement. Yes, we all welcome that. He has done his job. Hats off to him. But don't you think the Prime Minister of India and the Amit Shah ji do have a responsibility to come and answer and address the MPs inside the House? Don't you think so? Why go and talk in Varanasi? Why go and talk in Ahmedabad? Why go and talk in Gujarat? You can talk it with us. You talk Man Ki Baat with every people of the India. Why don't talk with the member of the parliament? We just ask an explanation. You do it, then everything goes smooth. That's all. Why all these things?
I think that deserves an answer. Leher Singh Siroya ji, अगर गृह मंत्री और प्रधानमंत्री का स्टेटमेंट मांगा जा रहा है, if a statement from the Prime Minister and Home Minister is being demanded, what is the big deal? They should come on the floor of the House, give a statement. उनको वक्तव्य देने में इतनी दिक्कत क्यों है? ये सवाल है विपक्ष का.
मैं इसका जवाब दूं, इसके पहले एक और बात बताना चाहूंगा.
बोलिए.
अभी ये कहा जा रहा था कि सिक्योरिटी के लिए उन्होंने हाउस को स्टॉल किया है. तो जब ये लास्ट ईयर जो अगस्त में सेशन हुआ था जिसमें ईडी के मुद्दे पर, क्योंकि गांधी परिवार से ईडी पूछताछ करने गई थी, तो पूरा सत्र हाउस नहीं चलने दिया उन्होंने ईडी के लिए. तो उसमें कौन सा उनका देश का स्वार्थ था क्या? जब हजारों करोड़ रुपए जब लूटे गए हैं तो उनके लिए ईडी पूछताछ नहीं करेगी, इनकम टैक्स एजेंसी पूछताछ नहीं करेगी? तो उनके विरोध में नारे लगाए के एजेंसी को डिमोरलाइज करने के लिए कितने नारे उस समय लगाए थे, मैंने देखे हैं. उस समय तो हमने इनको एक्सपेल नहीं किया, और एक्सपेल किया कुछ भी हुआ हो, अगर किसी ने कोई मिमिक्री हाउस में की, किसी ने नहीं की हो, इसका जवाब ये होता है क्या आप उपराष्ट्रपति की या राष्ट्रपति की आप मिमिक्री करोगे और कांग्रेस के सर्वोच्च नेता तालियां बजाएंगे, वीडियो उतारेंगे और सब मखौल उड़ाएंगे? ऐसा कभी नहीं देखा. क्या उनको अगर एक्सप्रेशन गलत किया, सही किया, क्या इसका जवाब ये होता है क्या? एक बात. और रहा जो आदरणीय गृह मंत्री जी का, वो आधे अधूरे तथ्यों के आधार पर वो संबोधित नहीं करेंगे. जब उनके पूरे तथ्य आ जाएंगे तो वो स्टेटमेंट देंगे. और जांच चल रही है, और उस समय जब दिसंबर की जो 2001 की जो बात है, 3 की जो भी बात है, उस समय क्या हुआ था, उसमें उनको हाथों हाथ मार दिया गया था और तब उन्होंने स्टेटमेंट दिया था. अभी उनको पकड़े गए, लेकिन ये जो अपराधी पकड़े गए हैं ये मूल अपराधी नहीं है. इनके पीछे ताकतें कौन है जो डिस्ट्रप्शन करना चाहती है, देश की आर्थिक स्थिति को बिगाड़ना चाहती है,
मैं आपसे अग्री करती हूँ, मगर एक सवाल पूछने की चेष्टा मैं दोबारा करती हूँ।
उनकी जांच के बगैर कैसे, उनकी जांच पूरे बगैर कैसे गृह मंत्री जी बताएंगे?
नहीं, मैं मानती हूँ कि जांच से पहले गृह मंत्री तो बयान दे ही नहीं सकते, गृह मंत्री को उसके बाद ही बयान देना चाहिए। मगर क्या कोई आश्वासन था जो विपक्ष को दिया जा सकता था? Was there some kind of assurance that could have been given out to the opposition members if they were demanding an answer?
देखिए, लोकसभा स्पीकर ने आश्वासन दिया था, हमने कमेटी बना दी है और आगे की सुरक्षा की जिम्मेदारी मेरी है, ये लोकसभा स्पीकर ने ऑन रिकॉर्ड कहा है, ये इनको मान लेना चाहिए था। लेकिन इसका आगे जो भी हो रहा है और पीछे जो भी हो रहा है, अडानी के लिए उन्होंने हाउस नहीं चलने दिया, फिर मणिपुर के लिए हाउस नहीं चलने दिया, ये मैं पूरा इनकी मानसिकता है, इनके पास कोई तैयारी नहीं है, इनके पास टैलेंट नहीं है। और ये मुझे लगता है जब तक ये दो नहीं आ जाएंगे बीजेपी की तरह, जब हम दो रह गए थे, तो कांग्रेस भी दो ही रहना चाहती है, ऐसा इनका आचरण लग रहा है। कोई राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष जो रहा हो इतनी बड़ी पार्टी का,
चलिए मैं क्लोजिंग कमेंट्स के लिए एसटी हसन साहब के पास जाऊंगी, वो सबकी बातें सुन रहे हैं। हसन साहब, डू यू बिलीव विंटर सेशन ऑफ द पार्लियामेंट, इट्स ऑलमोस्ट ओवर नाउ, वी आर ऑन वेडनेसडे, 3 बहुत अहम बिल्स थे जो आज लोकसभा ने पारित किए, क्रिमिनल अमेंडमेंट बिल्स थे, और कहीं ना कहीं भारत की न्याय व्यवस्था को वो बदलने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, बहुत सारे परिवर्तन लाएंगे। और एक नागरिक के तौर पर मेरी उम्मीद यही थी कि वहां पर विपक्ष भी मौजूद हो, उस पर बहस हो, मगर कहीं ना कहीं इस डिसरप्शन पॉलिटिक्स ने लेजिस्लेटिव बिजनेस को पूरी तरीके से हाईजैक कर लिया है।
हम क्यों नहीं थे वहां पर? हम सिर्फ इसलिए नहीं थे क्योंकि हमें निकाल दिया गया। हम होते तो हम बहस भी करते। क्या जो अभी भाई जिस तरह से डाइवर्ट कर रहे हैं ना सारे इशू को, और कहीं ना कहीं मीडिया वाले भी उस जाल में फंस रहे हैं। इशू हैगा उन आतंकवादियों का जो पार्लियामेंट में घुसे जी। इशू मिमिक्री नहीं है जी, कोई सपोर्ट नहीं करता मिमिक्री को जी, लेकिन मिमिक्रियां होती आई हैं, पार्लियामेंट के अंदर भी हुई हैं। जैसे अभी आपके एक साथी ने हमारे बताया, क्या कार्टून नहीं बनते हैं लोगों के? क्या प्रेसिडेंट प्राइम मिनिस्टर कार्टून नहीं बनते हैं? क्या ओ माई गॉड के नाम से टेलीविजन पे कार्टून फिल्म नहीं आती है जिसमें मोदी जी भी होते हैं, राहुल जी भी होते हैं?
नहीं, उपहास हमारे प्रजातंत्र का एक बहुत अहम हिस्सा है, जैसे किसी भी प्रजातंत्र का होता है। हसन साहब, क्षमा करती हूँ, क्षमा मांगती हूँ आपसे, मेरे पास इतना ही समय है आज, दैट्स ऑल द टाइम आई हैव, आई अपोलोजाइज आई हैड टू इंटरप्ट यू देयर सर, बट मिस्टर लहर सिंह सिरोया, एसटी हसन, मालूक नागर and Kadimuri Somu, thank you all for joining us on the broadcast. The politics of disruption has completely taken over the kind of proceedings we saw on the floor of the House, and the legislative business clearly has taken a back seat.
Hello, Namaskar. This is First Post and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. The risk in the Red Sea continues to rise. Houthis are on the war path. They're attacking ships. Yesterday, we told you about a 10-nation coalition to counter them. India is not part of that group. But India feels the threat too. It has deployed another warship off Yemen. Prime Minister Modi has spoken to Netanyahu. We'll tell you what the plan is and how this conflict will hurt India. In the other war, Vladimir Putin says he's ready to talk to Ukraine and the West. Is he looking to end the war finally, and why now? We'll discuss that. In the US, a court has disqualified Donald Trump for contesting the election. We'll tell you what this means. In Pakistan, Nawaz Sharif's outreach to India continues. Is this a new strategy?